I was never academic. My dream as a kid was to play football internationally and professionally. I started at the age of 5, and I think by the age of 11, I brought my mum down to a cricket pitch to count as many juggles as I could do. And we were there for 47 minutes, and I did 2,168, I believe. I was never academic. I spent all my days outside kicking a ball against trampoline, working on my fitness. And then one day at a football trial, midway through, I had a sudden gripping in my chest. I couldn't breathe. It dropped me to the ground. It was extremely painful. And I remember going to the hospital. I had every test under the sun. I had MRIs, I had CAT scans, I had treadmill tests. I went to school with an ECG monitor strapped around me for 48 hours. And just no one could tell me why or what was going on. I tried to go back to football, same thing happened, and the doctors basically told me that I had to give up on that dream and I was unable to play football anymore, which, you grow up your whole life wanting to achieve something, and then that gets taken away from you. That was pretty hard to take on board. So that was my first setback. Again, from there, I went to play volleyball. Went and played overseas in America and Australia. Again, shoulder injury. Basically, had to stop playing. It was my rotator cuff. And, at the time, it seemed something that I didn't know how to fix. I didn't know if it was fixable. I didn't know if it was just because I'd used it so much that this was my issue and that's what I had to deal with. And then after that, I was like, you know what, let's take it to the gym. So I basically started training from the age of about 16, 17 properly inside the gym. I did it for many reasons. When you work out, there's multiple reasons that are beneficial for getting into the gym. But by the age of 19, I was actually at the peak I'd ever gotten to, but better than I am now. And again, I was benching 130, I was squatting 180, squatting 160, deadlifting 180. I got injured wrist, which I don't know if you can see, but it just pops in and out of its socket still to this day. And I was out for 7 months. And at this time, I'd lost so much weight because of it. All those years of training so hard. And I built up this great physique. And now, on social media, I was getting comments like, is that actually Braden, that dude that was training? He looks like he has cancer. Man, he's so skinny. And it was pretty detrimental to my mental health, to be fair. And again, that wrist injury, I know now that all I needed to do was immobilize it, put it in a brace for 6 weeks at the first time of injury, and it would have been fine. All I would have had to do was immobilize it and then strengthen it, and it would have been fine. But for 7 months, I was uneducated, and I didn't know what to do. I wasted away. And it didn't, like I said, it didn't just affect me physically, it affected me mentally. So it was at this point where basically I was so tired of getting set back from working so hard towards something that I just wanted to take that. I wanted to have the knowledge. I wanted to be the one who was going to tell me, yes, I can, or no, I can't. And I wanted to know why. I wanted to know the structures in my body. I wanted to know how they worked. I wanted to know all of it so that I could prevent these things from happening, or at least if they were starting to occur, I'd know what would improve it, heal it, decrease the risk from it getting worse. So I started physiotherapy, and for a kid that wasn't academic, I genuinely didn't believe that there was any possibility of me getting in. I think there was like 1,700 people that applied and 150 got accepted, and somehow, and whether you're religious or not, I'm a believer, but I truly believe that God had my back on that one, because there was just no way I should have got in. But I truly believe that this is my purpose. So I got into physiotherapy. I started learning everything with a real drive and passion for gymming and for the body and for teaching myself how to, like I said, prevent, decrease the risk, heal, rehab. When I graduated physio and started working in a private musculoskeletal practice, there were so many cases that reminded me of my own. People that would come in that had had injuries that were to them so detrimental to their whole well-being, that were stopping them from playing sports, stopping them from going on hikes with their friends, stopping them from doing like the Tongariro crossing, or people elderly that aren't able to play with their grandkids just because of something that we were actually able to almost completely rid them of the pain in one session. And to them, that was mind-blowing. And it really showed me that the only thing that is really limiting us in our life is just being uneducated on our bodies and what we should be doing. I'll speak of one case in particular that really drove me to create Imperium. I won't mention any names just for privacy, but there was a lady that came in with her daughter. I've actually posted this testimony on my Instagram and the highlight stories, but she came in with her daughter. She was completely dependent on her family to shower, get in and out of the car. It was really emotional. They were crying. And for the first session, I just sat there and listened to her story. And within 2 weeks of just giving her the right exercises and the right education, she was shell-shocked at the improvement that she had made, becoming completely independent in all those tasks, just because she was unaware. And she'd been to multiple physios, she'd been to doctors, she'd been to neurospecialists, she'd had all these images, and it just came down to a simple factor. Imperium basically is giving you the power and the knowledge to be able to know your body to the point where it changes training from just moving weights to a literal art. You're training for a purpose, and you're building this foundation that is optimal to prevent you from having injuries, from setting yourself back from your goals, so you don't have to waste finance, you don't have to waste your time, emotion, all those kinds of things. Because when it comes to it, when we do have these injuries, and us being human beings, we always think we're indestructible, right? And especially as we gym, we're getting bigger, we just think we're more powerful, but it's actually almost more dangerous, because when you're starting to lift those heavier weights, and your tissues have little areas where they can't handle that sufficient amount of weight, and that's when you start to get things like your sore knees, your sore back, your sore shoulders. Worst case scenario, you have a macro trauma where it's just sudden, boom, you tear something. It's so important to have this knowledge to be independent in your own health. Imperium's knowledge is something that I think should be compulsory for humans to know when they leave college, when they leave year 13. Just like we believe that budgeting and all of those kind of things should be compulsory for us to survive, pretty much, and be well prepared for the real world. So Imperium basically provides a 12 list of video courses explaining from teaching you about the tissues in your body, what strengthens them, how to best protect them, teaches you how to move, it teaches you why things like range of motion and time under tension are so important. It teaches you, if you have pain, how to just look at your postures and your movement patterns to be able to know which exercises, what you need to stretch, what you need to strengthen, and it just gives you all that power. So instead of basically you have a coach and they're just telling you what to do and you don't really know why you're doing it, this is giving you the information and the knowledge and the power to know exactly why you're doing these things and how it's going to help you prevent injuries, decrease the risk of injuries, and rehab and heal injuries that you may already have. So I like to discuss it as you can be as big as powerful as you want. You can be this car, but unless you're continually servicing that car, you're just waiting for the engine to break down or the clutch to blow, where Imperium gives you the foundation that your car is continually serviced. And if that engine light does come on, you know exactly what to do to go ahead and fix it. So along with this education, Imperium provides a workout program which is scientifically based. So it's a mesocycle program, which basically means that you're progressively loading the intensity or the reps and the sets or the duration over the span of 4 weeks, and then on the 5th week you have a deload week and you kind of start that progression again, but obviously you'll be moving the weights up slowly as you're able. It also provides stability exercises, so when you sign up you get free Imperium bands to perform these exercises, so you're not just given what to do, you're given the means to do them, which I think is so important. And in that education, it explains and gives you the motive to why performing these stability exercises is so important. As a whole, Imperium for me was the fact that I was so uneducated and I had so many times in my life that were so detrimental when I was set back or when I was pushed back from reaching my peak, and I wanted to know what my peak would look like. So at the moment, obviously, I'm not in the best physical shape that I could be. That's mainly due to COVID, and also the fact that I have been creating this business, and there's been a lot of learning, a lot of new skills that I've had to take on board, and it's just been a real learning curve for me. So gymming had to take a bit of a step back in my priority list. But I'm so excited to get back into it and start my own Imperium plan. Imperium is giving you the knowledge, giving you the power. Imperium is Latin for power. I figured everything in health is Latin, so I found the Latin word for power because it's giving you independence and autonomy in your own health. It enables you to be really proactive with your health and do the things that will work towards bettering it, so that you're not relying on somebody else to tell you, which may or may not be correct. You're relying on your own knowledge and having that awareness yourself. So yeah, basically as a sum, that's Imperium. That's how I got to this stage. I just wanted to take things into my own hands, and now that I have this knowledge, I think it's so important to share it, and I think it's so important to enable others to have this information, to not only get them inside the gym and reap the rewards that going to the gym has, because it's not just your physical body, it's your confidence. It helps with your single task focus. It helps with your mental health. It helps with, there's literally endless benefits of going to the gym. That this won't just help people physically, but I believe Imperium can create a positive ripple effect through the community, because without pain, people's emotional and social interactions will improve. And I think that we could be a lot kinder to each other. There's a quote that says, if you want to work on your mind, you have to work on your body. And if you want to work on your body, you have to work on your mind. And Imperium is encouraging to improve that lifestyle, improve it in a community of people that are all achieving the same thing. And that's what I truly believe this clothing line is. My aim is helping to do, is to try and create that community, people posting up, the efforts that they're putting in and inspiring others to do the same. Thank you so much for listening to Imperium's story and kind of how it came about. I appreciate it so much, and the support has been endless. Working on Imperium for about 2.5 to 3 years now, so it's been a long journey, but I'm so excited to be able to create this and just take the risk and hope that I can help others how I've helped myself, and give them the independence and autonomy to better their whole well-being. So thank you so much for listening, and Imperium, built to last, baby.